Hi, it's me, Reidy, back with episode 56 of Beat the First Man, and coming up on today's show we have an astonishing Tales of the Unexpected, an astounding double helping of Road to Wembley, and a frankly outstanding band in the form of the 95 All-Stars on Zooming In, and of course, an absolute bundle more. What are we waiting for? Hit the titles. Here we are then, another week of the silliest football show on YouTube, where you get to guess how old footballers are, listen to a mute teddy bear give betting advice, and watch a grown man whack a chair with an inflatable hammer to celebrate a big win. What's not to love? Anyway, let's start with how old. So time where we guess a footballer from yesteryear. This time we head to the old Eastern Bloc, back to the USSR. Again, I'd play the song, but you know the rules. He used to be part of the European Championships and World Cups prior to the split of the likes of the Ukraine, etc. That's what the USSR were for you youngsters watching the show. Anyway, our man spent his almost entire playing career at Dynamo Kiev. He made 277 appearances, scoring 27 goals from fullback. Before he made a late switch to Israel, where he signed for Maccabi Haifa. He managed a paltry 5 matches for them. Obviously couldn't be arsed. Anyway, he wore the famous red and white shirt of the USSR on 79 occasions and was actually included in 3 different World Cup squads. He was known as a lightning quick fullback with a powerful shot. Interesting stuff, I hear you say. And it's all great, isn't it? But let's face it, all we want to know is when this photo of Vladimir Besanov was taken. How old was he? Simple as that. Age to be revealed later on the show when Ted will be back with his guess as always. So time for a bit of this. This is a classic Tales of the Unexpected. A little bit sick, a little bit disgusting, but incredible. So, at the weekend, the recent local derby in Ligue 1, it was between Lille and Lens. 2 football clubs who do not like each other at all. Anyway, as expected, trouble broke out of the game. There was incidents where there was a pitch invasion. There were arrests, which included a pitch invasion. It included a Nazi salute, throwing of objects, mainly seats. But we've heard of most of those before. That's nothing new. That's something, unfortunately, as a football fan, you get used to. But perhaps the most astonishing and certainly unexpected one of all of them arrived in the form of a Lille fan who was arrested for, and I quote, masturbating in front of Lens supporters. Yes, you heard me correct, masturbating in front of Lens supporters. He's going to be prosecuted under sexual exhibition, which could lead to a year in prison and a €15,000 fine. That is one expensive, yeah, you know what I was going to say. But I've got so many questions. I can't bring myself to ask them, but I've got so many questions that I could ask about it. But it does bring a whole new slant on a couple of old football tunes, you know, from the day. The Lille fans are wanker. Yes, he actually is. And come on, Lille. No, too far, too much. Okay, let's leave that. Let's move on. Let's bring along what we love best, the giant hammer. Now, since we introduced the giant hammer, we have been waiting since the start of the season for one of the European superpowers to step up to the plate. And finally this weekend we got it. We head to Germany and Bayern Munich. They entertain Bochum in the Bundesliga. Remember, we can say Bundesliga again now. We've forgotten our fallout from last year when they got our video taken down. So anyway, a blistering first half saw goals from Sane, Kimmich, Gnabry and an own goal, giving Bayern a 4-0 lead at the break. And apparently as the players were leaving the pitch, you could actually hear the Bayern fans chanting Hammerzeit. That's hammer time in Germany, for you uneducated out there. On the hour it was still 4-0, but 2 quick-fire goals from Lewandowski and Kimmich, and suddenly it was 6-0. Now here's a beautiful twist. To round the day off, remember our old friend of the show, Eric Choupo-Moting? Remember him? He was the one who they faxed through to the wrong number, so he missed his international call-up. Well, guess what? He only went and got the 7th goal to make sure that hammer time was complete. So, for this weekend, Bochum, you will be the chair. Bayern Munich, you will be the hammer. Ladies and gentlemen, it is hammer time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bayern Munich, hammer time. And yes, I did just count to 7 in German without looking it up. Up there for thinking, down there for dancing. That's what they always say. Oh, I can't dance for shit. Anyway, let's put this bad boy on. Oh. Turn it off. Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police update time. It's a special one this week, ladies and gentlemen. And do you know why it's a special one this week? Why is there a special one this week, Reidy? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because it's the Road to Wembley FA Vars. Yes, the boys from Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police this weekend are in the FA Vars. Now, we did choose them. They got a bye in the first round, so we had to choose the game of the team who they're going to meet. So Torpoint won in the first round. So technically, we should follow Torpoint. But shit to that, it's my show. We're following the boys from Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police. That's who we're on. So, this weekend, Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police travel to the boys from Torpoint in the FA Vars. Now, there's a lot riding on this. We want that FA Vars run. So, what we need is a bit of confidence going into the game. So, let's review the last week. So, last Saturday in the league they lost, but that was last Saturday. That's a week ago. So, but they had a game in midweek. Yes, Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police had a game in midweek. They were playing Elberton Villa. By God, what a game. A 13-goal thriller, no less. There was actually 7 goals in the opening 35 minutes. What a goal bonanza for both sets of fans. Yeah, you guessed it. Elberton Villa scored all 7. It was 7-0 at half-time. Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police were getting battered. It was back to the dark old days, unfortunately, scoreline-wise. The second half did improve. It was only 6 in the second half. Final score, Elberton Villa 13, Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police 0. Unlucky for some, I hear you say. Unlucky for some, I hear you say, Reidy. It's very true. But that's gone now. That's gone. That is history. It's all about the FA Vars. Dreams of Wembley. Dreams of that beat the first man coach trip. A coach full of the boys from Senses. Full of the boys from Dictator. Full of the boys from the 95 All-Stars. They're on later. And just full of all the musicians we've ever had on this show. Travelling to Wembley with a massive beat the first man flag for Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police. Come on, boys. This is your time. This is your moment. Wembley, Wembley, we're the famous Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police and we're going to Wembley, Wembley. Of course we might not be, and if they lose we'll follow Torpoint. But for this weekend, the road to Wembley, it's all about Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police. So come on, boys, it's a tough ask, it's a game they're not expected to win, but every dog has its day. Maybe this weekend is the day. Let's wait and see. So, what's that?
Lookalike-EE.
Yes, it's back. The jingle, Lookalike-EE, the new feature which so far has seen us bring together Luka Modric and David Guetta and Brad Friedel and Bruce Willis. Well, this week the worlds of footballing and acting collide once more. The mercurial Dutch winger with the wonderful left foot that is Arjen Robben. Why don't people show him onto his right foot? Well, who could he look like? Well, it's a famous actor. He was very famed for his role in Star Trek. He's a bit older than Arjen, but to be honest, Arjen looks a lot older than he is. So here is this week's
Lookalike-EE.
Yes, it's Arjen Robben and Patrick Stewart. And there's probably 40 years difference at least, but they do look like each other. It's a good one, isn't it? Let's be honest. So be sure to tune in for another Lookalike-EE next week. So everybody's favourite bear, here he is, young Ted. Alright Ted, how are we? I'm confused, Reidy. Why Ted? What's up? Why are you confused? Why did that banker get arrested at the Lille game? No, Ted. He wasn't a banker. You said a Lille fan was caught banking. No, Ted, come here. Let me tell you. Wow, I am in shock at that. I mean, abuse the players, etc., but surely that's a step too far. I would say, Ted, that is beyond a step too far. How far did he get with his... No, Ted, we're not going down there. That's one of the questions that I'm not asking. Anyway, your treble failed us last week, didn't it? Yeah, bloody Burnley and that gravel-voiced idiot manager. Well, it wasn't technically his fault, was it? You know, his team didn't win or draw because they let one in and they didn't score any. It's quite simple. Against, in your words, Bobbins Arsenal. They are Bobbins. Burnley are Bobbinser. Bobbinser? Is that a word, Ted? Let's get on with this week's winner then. And it is a winner. So starting off, Klopp's Liverpool to win at Brentford. Now, hang on a second, Ted. Brentford are unbeaten. They've had a hell of a start and they're at home. I think this is a tight game. I don't see this one as an easy one. No chance. Easy Liverpool win. Next. It's your bet. Who's next? Everton to beat Norwich. Nice, easy Merseyside double. Hard to argue with that one, Ted. I mean, Norwich just, they don't look up to it, to be honest, do they? They look like they're on a one-way ticket back to the Championship. Will they get any points? We'll see. Anyway, so who makes up the treble? Leicester to beat Burnley. I'll show that gravel-voiced idiot. So because Burnley let you down, you're back in against them. 100% spot on, Reidy. Okay, Ted, well, that little lot, so Liverpool to win, Everton to win, and Leicester to win, it pays just under 3 to 1. So it's not a huge odds, but it is enough to increase your money. I'm telling you now, Reidy, miss out at your peril. Well, let's see. You need to get the punters back on side. We've had a couple of weeks of losing money, so we need to get them back on side. So, well, you do. It's not my bet. It's your bet. So we'll see you later for how old the reveal, yeah? Oh, yes, Reidy, the Russian spy. Good God, Ted. See you later. So this week on Zooming In, we had a band back on the show. Not a band for a little while, but we had a band on. And I have to say, they entertained me greatly. And hopefully they will entertain you just as much. They were the first band to be shown a yellow card during the chat. So keep an eye out for that part of the show. Look out for what they reckon Ronaldo is going to treat himself upon his retirement. And yeah, sit back and enjoy the boys from the 95 All-Stars with a very strong five-a-side team. Here's Zooming In.
So here we go, another Zooming In. I'm delighted to say we're joined by another band. It is the boys from the 95 All-Stars. We have Rich, bass and vocals and an Arsenal fan. Tim, guitar and a Liverpool fan. And finally, last but not least, Dan, drums and a Tottenham fan.
Correct.
How are we, gents?
We're doing good. Thanks, Reidy. Nice to see you. Thanks for having us on.
No problem at all, gents. So first of all, as I say to everybody that comes on, there will be people out there who don't know who you are, not heard your music before. So if you were to stand on a sales floor and promote the band and what you're all about, and you had about a minute or so, here's your moment. Fill your boots.
You go first.
Oh, go on, mate.
You sure?
He's the one with the biggest mouth, right? He's the salesman. Come on then.
I can't answer all the questions. So essentially, mate, we are a three-piece, as you will see. We're indie alternative band. We've been together for a number of years. Just started off having fun, just playing music together. 10 years, and then over the course of the last 3-4 years, we really started focusing a bit more on writing, recording, releasing music, playing live, and just trying to get some stuff out there. And the feedback we've had has been really, really good. I think we're three guys who have a vast range of musical influences, which we try and kind of squish together into the 95 All-Stars and get a lot of that out. And the best way to pigeonhole it really is indie alternative. But if you listen to our stuff, you'll probably hear a number of different influences there. I think it's just good music, good hooks, good melodies, and we try to package the music that we love.
And we try to have some fun as well. And I think that's the number one key of the whole thing. That's what it's about, isn't it?
When do we have fun?
I don't. Drives me insane.
I'll try and keep
stress me out.
Yeah.
what you said there rather brilliantly leads me to why you've stumped me and why you're the first band or musical artist to have stumped me. So I am a little bit of a musical expert. Not. My only musical expertise is comparing you to other artists.
Awesome.
I can't find anybody to compare you to. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
Which names did you have a think about? Who did you kind of liken us to?
I couldn't. It's so difficult.
Really?
I've listened to 2 or 3 different tracks and I'm finding it really difficult to say, well, that sounds a bit like them, or that sounds a bit like them. And everyone else I've managed to say, okay, it's a little bit that, or it's a little, I can't. You're just I think you're very, very different in a good way, a really good way. But I just think you're very, very different.
You know, I think that comes a lot to do with our influences and our styles as well, of like our histories have been in other bands. You know, we've done songs like there's one called Hands High, which you might have heard, and that is completely electronic based, where we were just jamming around. I went, I'm going to take that on and just go and just play with some synthesizers, and the next minute it was a song and we put it out. I agree. You know, and then other ones we've just been in a bad mood and we've done something heavy, or a love song because he's a bit of a soppy idiot sometimes.
I do love them.
Yeah, so it's very hard to nail it. What we actually
see, I find that weird because I mean, we write our stuff, we record our stuff, and we produce all our own stuff as well.
In this very studio, actually.
Yeah.
So in that this is where we write, record, and produce.
Where the magic happens.
Where the magic happens.
Absolutely. But it's hard because, you know, when you've got strong influences in certain genres, you sort of tend to feel that you're sort of leaning towards that all the time. So there's so much more sort of 90s-esque feel to a lot of the tracks we're doing, and sometimes you think of those bands that reinvent themselves with new sounds, and they've obviously got a lot of people around to assist with that. But when it's just the 3 of us, and you know, we've sort of fallen into our task. I mean, we started out as a covers band, and we all sort of were guitarists and singers in our previous bands, so we couldn't work out who was going to do what.
No, that was quite easy after one session because no one could play the drums.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was me relegated to the drums straight away. It happened.
The original plan was,
we'll all do this.
We're going to shift around. So we picked a couple of songs, each couple of covers, to bring them to practice. And whoever brought the song, they sang it and played guitar. And the other 2 would do the sort of bass and drums. And we were going to switch around every time. And Dan was right by about halfway through the first practice.
I can't hear this anymore.
Yeah. Even though Rich thought he was a drummer, clearly that wasn't the case.
There you go.
So Dan fell to that. And then for a good few years when we were covers bands, Rich and I would just keep switching. We would sort of switch guitar duties and bass duties mid-set. And it was quite clunky. It was quite difficult to do because we'd sort of do 3 songs here, 3 songs there. And then it just didn't fit trying to build sets and stuff. And then we sort of, as we got into our own stuff, because we just got bored of covers, you know, playing Sex on Fire to a load of middle-aged women is not great.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
For like 20 quid.
I say
you have to pay me a lot more than 20 quid to play that again.
Yeah, so I think
you enjoyed the attention though, didn't you? Sex is on fire.
He's right.
It was coupled with COVID, really. You know, we started to get bored of the covers thing. And COVID kicked in as well. We'd already written a couple of tracks and sort of jammed some stuff out. And then we just started thinking, you know what, let's just write. We've got all the kit, we've got all the gear. Dan and I especially sort of like always played about with production and writing and recording stuff. And then we just got to the stage where it was like, well, this is what we enjoy more. Let's just do this. So it's more around getting the time. You know, the ideas come, definitely. But once you got it, and they're getting better. That's why probably you're finding it's hard because each track
changing.
It's different. You know, it's different. It gets a lot of the songs have been written years apart or months apart at least. So it's not knocking out 3 or 4 or 5 tracks in a week. That's when you tend to get more of a sound, I guess. So about those different sounds. I'm interested though. Which tracks have you heard? Here's a test for you.
I can't. Don't give me that. I just downloaded about 3 or 4 songs and just played them in the car. What's the one from January? The latest one from January. That one I've banged out quite a bit.
Actually speak louder than words. Yeah.
That's the fella.
Yeah.
So But
I agree with you.
Yeah,
It's
quite
not
a
that
good song.
difficult. It's not that
Easy to
pigeonhole.
that, yeah.
But to Tim's point about how we came about and just playing covers and just chucking songs that we enjoyed together, there was a big spread, I guess, of kind of different artists and genres and stuff. But what happened is the songs that worked, we clicked with, and there was bits in those songs that clicked with us. And I think that's translated into the stuff that we write. So when we come together with an idea and we jam, I think the songs that work and that go on to become finished songs are the ones where we all kind of click in with it. I don't think there's a song which one person's feeling, the other two kind of don't want to take forward, that ever goes anywhere. The songs that go anywhere are the ones that, for whatever reason, click with all of us individually and as a band. And they're the ones we can kind of see ourselves playing and are quite proud to put out. And, you know, part of the 95 All-Stars offering, if you like. It's an important thing for all of us that we're proud of what we put out there. We're not here just to rush songs out to put stuff on Spotify. We want to be proud of everything that we produce. And if we are playing it live, we want to, it comes from the heart,
Yeah. So which leads us rather beautifully, because a little birdie tells me that potentially there might be a new single coming out very, very soon. So what can we expect from that one?
Go on, Tim.
It's basically a Tibetan monk chant.
It's
very broad. That's why I shaved my head.
I think this is probably the poppiest one. I think sometimes when we write, you kind of, especially in the early days, you tend to try and steer away from the obvious. And then with that means that you can tend to sort of come away from the formulas of pop music. But actually with this one, it tends to lean towards that. It's a little bit more catchy. And it's more about a solid sound. I think sometimes within production, you can get a little carried away with all of the tricks that you can put into tracks now. But this is just raw. This is just us. It's just a real fat guitars, real fat wide sound. It's a sing along, isn't it?
I love the way he says that it's like poppy. We're doing that. There's a 3-minute solo we're trying to cut down at the moment. Popular radio play song. It's just like
there will be a radio edit, and when we put them all onto an album soon, it will.
It's a good solo, though. I've got to say.
So when can we expect to hear the first?
3 years with the first solos.
No, so we're literally just we've pretty much finalised the track. So we're looking for a release early October. When it's going to come out. So and then it's back to the drawing board in terms of writing. So we've got a couple of gigs lined up. But yeah, I think this one will be coming out. We haven't got a specific date. It's going to be around 10th, 14th, something like that. That will be coming out. But yeah, they just keep getting stronger and stronger, especially the production with it. We like to play about. We like to learn with it as well. We don't. What you see is what you get. This is it for the band. Everything that we're doing in terms of what we produce, what we write, any advertising, marketing, we don't lean on anyone else. In fact, we did get a call from a record label. Probably when was that? About 6 months ago, and it just wasn't right, was it? It's slightly different. I mean, you can see that we're not 18 anymore.
But the most important thing for us is having creative control over everything. And when other people try and get involved in it, it all changes.
It stops being fun.
Yeah.
And then the whole point that everything is about the enjoyment at the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just being proud that something's out there. So that's why things can sound different, because we're not going, we're a genre. We're part of a genre. We're part of a look. We're part of this. We're just coming in and having fun. And like you say, if something resonates with us, then it might be because I've been listening to country and western that day, and then suddenly I like it. And that song's good. And as long as we walk out every gig or every practice and we feel like we've done our best, had fun, like, if you're playing football or something, as long as you've done your best.
Yeah.
You come off the pitch and you feel like, I've enjoyed that, I've done my best.
We've always
and that's all we want from this.
We've always sort of dabbled with the idea of like bringing other members in, whether it be a bass player, so Rich and I can both play guitar, or whatever it is, or keys or whatever. But you just think, when you've been together so long, you just think, how's it going to fit culturally? How's it going to work? Because we go out for a few beers. It's not just about the music. We're mates outside of it also. You can't. It's a little magic triangle now.
There you go.
Good for you. Good for you. I mean, that's why I turned Sky down, because I just want to have control of this.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's great what you're doing as well, by the way, championing bands that people may not have heard of.
Yeah, definitely.
Giving bands a platform. We really appreciate what you're doing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
No problem, gents. Happy, it's like I said to you before we started recording, if one person downloads your song off the back of this, then happy days. And if you three guys watch my show, then happy days. It's all a winner.
Better bloody download it.
Yeah.
No, I will, I promise.
I'll download it.
Yeah. It's the only way you make any money out of music.
You don't make any money out of doing YouTube videos either, I can tell you.
Or streaming, no, mate, not at all.
So, if you could go back to the start, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself as a new band starting out?
And you go for that one.
I had so many bands in the past, and now I would go, just don't compromise on, don't try to be what you think the audience wants, or don't try to fit in with anything, because there's a million people who are doing that, and there'll be a million people with more luck than you or whatever. I think I was watching a documentary on Sparks the other day, and their point was they had ups and downs in their 50-year career, but they never compromised on just being who they were, and that's how they got a career out of it, because no one else can be you,
and quite hard to,
quite hard to pigeonhole. But yeah, just be you. I'd go back to myself and say, just because you like that band doesn't mean you need to dress like them, don't mean you need to sing like them, don't do that. Just do what comes out of you naturally, and hopefully one person likes it, and then that could end up being a million. You just don't know.
I think you got to find your place. I think going back to how we started out, and what each of us sort of brought to the band, it takes time. It takes time to recognise that and those skill sets. I think the reason that we've got into the situation we're in now, we all shared singing duties. We recognise Rich has got strongest vocals out of the three of us, so lead the way with it. The same happened with guitar and drums and everything else. It was just, we probably started off in a bit of a weird way, because we'd sort of been out, play with lots of bands, taken a break and then come back together. But it's about, if you know what you're there, what you bring to the band, and everybody can recognise that, then that's a great thing. But also recognise what you can't, what your strengths are not. That's when you become a solo artist.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
I do. That's all right.
Actually, I do. I've got a separate interview with Reidy.
You see, I've
got my new albums out in 2 days. Come on.
mention they can produce. I can't, so I need them more than they need.
Yeah.
My answer to that would be, my answer to that would be, I think, just be brave, and also that we, as you can see, we've been around the block. Age-wise, we're not 18 years old. I think when we were younger, 19 years old, when we were younger, there was a kind of a gateway, if you like, to making a career in music. It isn't like that anymore. We can, as a threesome, come together, write, record, release, produce, play our own music for our own enjoyment. And if lots of people hear it, brilliant, because we're proud of it. And I think I would say to myself 10 years ago, be brave and do it. Don't worry about what other people think. Just go out and play the music you want to play. And as long as you're proud of it, doesn't matter. And also these two are proud of it as well. That's the most important thing. If the collective is proud of it, then that's a buzz for me.
All good. Right, so time to put you on the spot then, gents. So you can have one each. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Tim, you go first.
One each.
That's a good question, though, isn't it?
So
wait till you hear the follow-up.
I'll answer it. And I'll do it from almost a band perspective. One of the
controversial,
but when we first got together, one band that was really important to all of us was the Stone Roses.
Yeah,
and I think if you were to listen to our stuff, you may hear some overtones of the Stone Roses. We just remember we did this during the Zoom era, the COVID era. We did a World Cup of bands where we all put 10 bands up. Remember, we did a knockout.
3 hours. We did that.
Just drinking, right? And I think the final was Radiohead against Stone Roses. I think Radiohead won, actually. Didn't they?
They did. But
we're going over old ground here. I'm not being funny. Who was it knocked Stevie Wonder out?
I think it was the Killers knocked Stevie Wonder out. He was sucked.
How is that even?
He almost handed his resignation into the band.
I was livid. I was also a bottle and a half through.
Right. going off on a tangent.
We are. So I want to say the Stone Roses because to me, everything about that band is just.
What would you do in that band then?
I'll do the best role, like everyone is dancing.
Stage, that sounds about right. I was going to say.
That's all I do. Yeah, 100%.
No, okay, right. There's so many classic, amazing artists from different genres that I love. But there's one band which they're not brand new. They've been around like a decade or so. But I love the fact that they use guitars, synths, electronic. There's a band called Everything Everything, and basically, you know, they're not a big band or anything. But when you listen to how their albums, how they make it, how they do it themselves,
Production's ace,
and you know, it could be a Radiohead-esque thing, and then it could just be a heavy dark synthesizer or something like that. I'd love to be in a band like that. So it's just
even more controversial.
Yeah.
We would love you to be in a band.
I'm going to find some real musicians to start up.
I would go Fleetwood Mac.
Ooh. I get you there,
just because they just got absolutely everything. Absolutely everything.
Everything.
Stevie Nicks makes me want to weep when I hear her sing. She's absolutely amazing. But every musician, the musicianship, the songwriting, just the stories behind it and how they come to write. Absolutely phenomenal.
Did you want to be in Fleetwood Mac in the Rumours era where they were on cocaine and shagging each other and divorcing each other?
I wanted to be an ABBA.
That was basically...
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, it's true. My opinion, not the opinion of Reidy. It's just,
Okay, so the follow-up question. Now, the follow-up question is never as easy. So, you can collaborate with the artist you've just chosen, but the next day, the All-Stars 95 and your music career is done and dusted, over, never play again. Do you A, collaborate with your artist, or B, turn them down?
I would turn them down because I love these guys. They know, but don't believe it.
Mate, but I could dine out on that.
That'd be a really good day, that would.
I would say no because friendship's more important.
Yeah, me too.
We better go with that as a unified.
Yeah. Rich's answer.
You were very. There's still one band. There is one band, Arcade State from Glasgow. The boys from Arcade State. Yeah. They sat on it. They picked Nirvana, and they all said straight away, "Nah, band's done. We're out of here. That's it. Before we're with them, band's folded instantly."
That's a good choice.
So, you've probably been the second closest. To be fair, there was a wobble.
Let's be honest, Rich is our spokesman, so we're going along with him.
Quite right. Just that's what Arcade State need, a good spokesman.
Let's move on to the world of football then.
Oh, wonderful.
So, 3 members of the band, 3 different teams. How does the dynamic work? How do you fall out on match days?
Not the current way things are working. I'm quite happy with it. I think we're both, me and Danny, unified in just gloating on Arsenal's
that is
triumphant start to the season.
Yeah,
I've absolutely relished that. Loved it. I used to a season bet every season with my mate who was an Arsenal fan, and it was a 50 quid bet for the season, whoever finished above the other. And I think I won it once, and he won it about 4 times on the trot.
Yeah.
He still owes me 20 quid for an FA Cup final bet, actually, with Michael Owen.
I was there for that. I was there.
That's a great result as well. But I'm loving that. I would probably take us just with the top 4 finish if Arsenal got relegated. I'd love that.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, look, I've been an Arsenal fan a long time and go regularly. And over the course of my lifetime, so when I started going, George Graham was still the manager. So I saw some great times under George Graham. I saw Arsene Wenger come, Bruce Rioch years for a bit, but the Arsene Wenger years, wonderful, revolutionised football. And it's been a kind of downward trajectory from there. Yeah. So it's become more and more difficult to be quite so brash about the Arsenal now.
Oh, God.
I try not to give these things too much.
When we first met, to be honest, I won't lie here, I think a lot of Tottenham fans would say we were not the top club in North London.
Correct. Not by by the way.
Now I don't even think about it. It's kind of not even a question anymore. I just go, oh, that's nice. Oh, good for them. You know?
Even Jimmy Greaves said the the double winning side of 61 was still not as big as Arsenal. You see that quote he said? We were, even when we won the double, Spurs, he said we still weren't as big a club as the Arsenal, and he's right. He was right.
He was right.
He was right, and now
it's always good to have these sort of little facts when you're not that good.
Well,
because it just makes you feel better about yourself, and I hope he feels good about it.
We're just clinging on to former glories now. Clinging on to former glories. Yeah.
So Sunday is the North London derby, so the timing of you guys coming on is absolutely perfect. So we're going to have a little bit of fun here. So Rich and Dan, you can have 30 seconds each to tell me what your team's winning the North London derby.
Okay. Can I start, or do you want to go first?
I've got to be honest, I've not been following much football recently.
We're going to win, because if you see Tottenham...
This season is like, I think it's after the European final on my birthday, where obviously England didn't win.
No. They never win on your birthday.
I've just been so focused on music, and I think that sort of made me so distraught. I've hardly followed this season, but I'll give you a rundown
if you like. That is Early Promise from Nuno, and a couple of heavy defeats.
Yeah.
And it's going to culminate on Sunday when you come to the Arsenal, because let me tell you, the Arsenal have had a dodgy start, but having destroyed Norwich 1-0, humiliated Burnley 1-0, you're next in line, mate. Next in line for an absolute shooting.
Do you know what? After
six game on Match of the Day.
I know, After Eric Dyer own goal off his backside in the 89th minute, but we will take it. We will take it.
Do you know what?
Like Henri running from the halfway line.
Those stats you've just given me have just basically been the reason why we are going to win on Sunday.
That's too fair. That's
1-0 Burnley.
When I chip in as a neutral, it's going to be a dull-ass 0-0.
Yeah.
You stole my next question. My next question was you could be the casting vote, but you've just said it, a draw. I think you're probably right.
I have to say I'm not feeling much for it. The little bit I've been following in the past few weeks have just been quite depressing. From the initial new manager, here we go. Oh my God, we've got results. Beginning of the season, loads of promise. Son obviously is a big
Son and Kane have gone off a
big issue, but your results are just bored. I can see a 0-0 as well. I can see it just being absolute.
We will find a way. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal has been sung for a long time.
Mate, it's the new tune. It's back.
Is it back?
It's back. It's back.
So Tim, an either or question for you. So you win the league, but Man United win the Champions League, or you finish second, but they tumble out in the group stages.
Oh. How many times have Liverpool won the Champions League? 5?
6, mate.
6. How many times have Man United done it? 3.
Hang on, I've got to compute this question first, mate.
If they're kind of levelling up with you, that's not what you want.
So
you win the league.
They win the league and we come second.
No, so you win the league, but they win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Or you finish second, someone else wins the league, not them.
Arsenal, probably.
Probably Arsenal. But
that's
they
the
go out
best
in the
joke.
group stages.
I might add something then.
With 36 1-0
So we come second.
Yeah.
Leicester top it, and we take the Champions League, and Man United go nothing. I'll tell you that.
Why do you want to do that?
I just want to make sure it's not United winning the league. He said it could be anyone here, as long as we're
negotiating.
Not United.
So you're turning down winning the title?
You turn it down winning the title to stop Man United.
I don't want to see Man United, especially with Ronaldo's first season or back. It's like, ooh, it's bad enough for the start he's made.
He's done well.
He's done very well.
Yeah, he's quite good, that lad.
He's
the fastest player in the bloody Premiership. 36 years old.
Is that
it reminds
32 kilometres an hour he was clocked at the weekend.
It reminds me a lot of myself, actually.
And they say he's getting some. I just love Troy Deeney's comment the other day. Did you see that?
Oh,
No, go on.
He said, if I saw that Ronaldo was eating horse manure before a game, I'd eat it as well. That's right. That's what he did. Yeah, just
I mean, it's got to be said that the man is some specimen, any for a 36, 37-year-old.
machine.
Unbelievable.
It is
Gives
incredible.
hope to us all.
It was that thing, wasn't it, when he's joining and you sort of thought, this is going to be interesting. Let's see him go on, thinking of his age. And there's a move and suddenly it's just like, is he coming here just again, the celebrity and all this kind of stuff. And then just straight away, just banging in goals. And it's just phenomenal, isn't it? You can't, it doesn't happen anywhere. No one at that age suddenly turns up.
This is the
defining
defining moment, defining season to that Messi Ronaldo
The
conversation.
GOAT discussion.
Always,
Yeah.
because who is the best, greatest of all time? I mean, you look at what's going on. Well, I mean, it was Ronaldo for me anyway. I mean, I always used to say when he was first at United, and I absolutely despised him. I said, I used to say that he had the most slappable face in the Premiership. Way too many step overs. I mean, even too many step overs for Ferguson. He wasn't enjoying it, but it was unbelievable. And he's just got from strength to strength. I hate him when he's in a Portuguese shirt because we just have such a bad rivalry with that team. Cheats, but. I mean, hats off to him. He is an absolute machine. And that's a guy that just never takes a breather. I don't even think he has a glass of wine on Christmas Day.
He doesn't.
He never, when he retires, you go, do you know what? I'm going to have a Mackie D's. I'm going to have a Mackie. And it'll turn into a massive bouncer only within about a year.
Is it Madeira Airport that's got this little like nice statue outside? Yeah, that's nice. Like, and even I stood next to him. Hey! Just like,
I'm looking forward
to win no trophies. That's it for me. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to us giving him a warm welcome at Ellen Road. You can be sure we'll have both arms to welcome him and his fellow friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, but now the bit you'll all have been waiting for, because this is the bit where the musicians, they love this more than talking about the music. You get to pick your five-a-side team of players that you've seen live. So same old rules, you have to have seen them live. One goalie, one defender, two midfielders, one striker. And as you're a band, it's only one team between the three of you, I'm afraid. So who are we going for as your goalkeeper?
Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel.
Again, massive hatred for United as a Liverpool fan, but that guy's just amazing. I mean, when you think about great goalkeepers and you just think of him, and I mean, I think he's even scored for about four different. He scored for Villa.
He did. Overhead kick, didn't he?
And he scored for two of his Danish teams, or he worked for, played for as well. But he was just an absolute all-rounder. I was listening to a podcast with Roy Keane the other day. And Roy Keane, you could tell that there's a bit of mutual respect there, but they clearly didn't get on because just the strength. I mean, imagine being a defender and having him behind you, yapping away all the way through the game. I mean, do you know what? Going back to knowing your place, I can't believe how quickly we came up with this team. Through WhatsApp as well.
Yeah.
Just in seconds.
So we said the rule is we can all pick one player each, and then the other two we will kind of find a kind of middle ground.
There's no real debate.
But actually, I chucked Schmeichel in the mix because, it's clearly in the blood because Kasper's fantastic as well.
Yeah.
A lot of respect from his brilliant keeper and a lot of traits from his dad, but it was unbelievable.
It was that era as well where you had those characters that dominated. Like you said, Roy Keane. Those teams there, and I'll say with Arsenal as well, when you had Vieira and people like that, there was these people dominated, didn't they? Their areas. They knew their place in the team. They played it so well. I loved watching that Man United team in those days, though, because you'd go to the back and you'd see Schmeichel there. And as a striker, when you're coming towards him, you must have just straight away thought, shit, I'm probably not going to score here. Because in that whole thing, filling the goal, and you see these massive guys do that. When Schmeichel filled the goal, it was as if his presence was bigger than his body. It was like this wall just went up, and it was just amazing.
Only two other keepers I think are in that sort of. You've got Neuer and Buffon as well.
Yeah, Buffon was the keeper we were thinking about.
I've seen Buffon.
We went with Schmeichel.
But that was an easy one. There was not much debate on that one. Schmeichel straight off the bat.
Right, let's have two little things. One, I'm going to have to give you a yellow card because you've now said United twice and not giving them their proper name. There's loads of Uniteds up there.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's a fair.
Especially that one.
United as well.
So
by the
what,
way.
is that 2 yellow cards? Or
That's just the one. I'll let you have the one. Any more,
all
you're off.
right, fair play.
We've seen that before, 2.5.
There's no more Manchester United players anyway. So
You're not the first.
Fair cop. Fair
But
cop.
he was also involved in one of the greatest moments I've ever seen, a fan running onto the pitch with Peter Schmeichel. So Leeds played Manchester United going back early 90s on Christmas Eve, and we beat them 3-1. It was one of the only Premier League games ever played on Christmas Eve. And the third goal went in at the Kop end, and a fan ran out of the crowd. Remember the old air horns? And he literally ran up behind Schmeichel and blew one in his ear after the third goal. It was genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Schmeichel's reaction was superb, but you've never seen a fan run so quick.
Was it like? Was it like? Who was it? Popped the balloon behind?
Mike Phelan.
Phelan, that was very funny. That's very funny.
It's very good. But
the other one was
anyway.
good. The keeper. You remember the keeper of Ian Walker? Remember him? Years back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Similar. The fan ran on and started goading him about. He just beat him up. Do you remember seeing that? Crazy.
Days.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, those are the days.
So let's go for your defender then, gents.
Yeah.
Okay, this one was mine because I've seen him. It's Maldini. Him when Arsenal played Milan back in 2003, I think it was 2004, around that sort of time. I also saw Alessandro Nesta was playing as well, and actually I loved Alessandro Nesta probably more as a defender, but I think in terms of overall legacy and number of appearances, I don't think you can go far wrong with Maldini.
No, and I think if we were all honest, we've all got a bit of a man crush on him, haven't we?
Yeah, he's a good-looking boy. he's
a beautiful man.
Beautiful.
Tell him, mate. Good olive oil.
There you go, mate.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man. It's got to be said.
Yeah, nice hair.
Nice hair, like me.
Yeah, I gave up worrying about that a long time ago.
I know.
He's holding on to it.
This is the evolution of hair here.
Yeah. Well, I'm the fourth one along.
Really? Yeah. We talked about having a fourth member.
I'm the next stage. The beard goes, and that's it. You've nothing left. I could be your fourth wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you play anything, Reidy?
Triangle.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Maracas, something like that. I don't know. We'll find something. I'll be your best.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Right. So first, you midfielders.
Shall I start?
You start.
Okay, so I've gone Tottenham legend, but it's not just for Tottenham. So Glenn Hoddle I've gone for actually.
Yeah.
And Dan Anderson.
Yeah.
Glenn Hoddle. And it's not just about the Tottenham exploits. It's more. I grew up as well quite near Swindon, so he went there as a player manager. And they actually got promoted in the first, I think it was the first year of the Premier League, I think. And watching him play then, and I went, because a lot of my family were all from around there, so he had this affiliation with Swindon as well.
Yeah.
So we went to see them get promoted and went to see some of the games as they were going through for that whole thing. And for Swindon, it was obviously a massive, massive deal getting into the top flight. And he was the leader, the catalyst of that. So not just on the pitch, it was that calmness as a manager, that calmness on the pitch. Obviously the record career as well, being a musician. I'm not being funny, but that puts him right up there, really.
Right. Love that.
The link between football and music.
Yeah, right there.
Beautiful.
It's that complete thing as well, because it was. Going to a smaller club like that and then doing something as big as that and uniting an area. And there's not many teams around West Swindon are either. So you have to go all the way to Bristol or to Oxford. So if you're in a little village there, you sort of followed what they did, and it just united people together. Yeah. And it was brilliant, and I think it was just his leadership.
It's just the one word, United.
Yeah.
Not Manchester.
Yeah.
Swindon
United. So that was So his skills, his management, his coolness, his ability to turn something out of nothing there, to be quite honest, at the time, bring in some great players to play with him. I put him up there in my final.
Very good
stuff.
on the five-side pitch.
Sure, he's very good on the
He
five-side.
would be good on a five-side pitch. Right, because Zoom are tight, we're going to have to rush the last two through because Zoom don't give us much for free. So your next midfielder, gents.
Okay, Gerard, absolutely. I mean, you were talking five-a-side here. We need top to tail, everything, and he's got everything in the kit bag.
We need someone who can shoot from outside the box sometimes.
Yeah, and I think he's got something like top 5 or something goals from outside the box in the Prem.
Yeah.
Midfielder, I think 6th highest scorer in the Prem as well. Unbelievable.
Really?
Fowler. Yeah, 6th.
And the most selected player on 5 sides on here.
No way.
I'm not surprised.
Really?
Easily.
He's wonderful.
We had this conversation the other day. Said, who famous would you actually go and ask for a selfie for? And there's not a lot. But if I saw that boy in the street, I'd have to. Unbelievable. I think what epitomises everything. I know we're short of time. Istanbul was just. I mean,
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Look at us. What
Definitely. Well, he won that game, didn't he?
it's unbelievable.
Without a doubt.
And speaking about players that you get to meet your idols at the semi-final of the Euros, I got to meet Ian Wright afterwards, and Ian Wright was like my idol growing up.
Ian Wright knew nothing about this.
And Ian Wright's not in our five-a-side.
but the guy who is in the five-a-side is my next, again, big man crush. This guy's a handsome dude, is Thierry Henry. Absolute wonderful specimen. Now my dad's from Manchester, right? So he's a City fan. So for most of my life, City have been terrible, right? And now obviously the tables have turned because of the oil money. But I used to take him every year to Highbury to watch Arsenal and Man City. The first time Thierry Henry was warming up in front of us, he said to me, "Who is that?" He said, "Like a gazelle." I was like, yeah, he's an absolute legend. And he wasn't quite so happy when he scored a hat-trick and we beat him 3-0. But hey, he was a wonderful footballer. He had everything.
Yeah. Liked by most, I would say liked by fans of a lot of other teams as well.
100%.
Yeah, he is.
Despised in Ireland, hated in Ireland. But apart from Ireland, he's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have to say, that's a pretty strong five-a-side team. It's got to be said.
Exactly right.
Have you had anyone that could beat that? I don't think so. I think that's
I actually might throw the challenge out there.
yeah, throw the challenge out there. Yeah, right. No Ronaldo, no.
We didn't want to go for just Ronaldo and Messi and people like that as well. You know what I mean? So I think we were looking at different attributes everyone could bring individually to it.
That's true.
For reasons.
That's true. But they might make the bench.
No, I love it. Gents,
yeah, you're on the bench.
I have to say, you have been absolutely brilliant guests. And I'm not just saying it because we're talking. You've been one of my favourite bands to talk to. You've been absolutely superb. People are going to love this. So,
hopefully what comes across is, we've been together a long time.
We talk a lot.
We talk a lot. But we all do. And we do it because we enjoy it and we love it. And spending time with
thanks,
boys is key. And thank you for giving us
He's trying to wrap up here.
I know.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'll pull the lid down. So when we finish this chat, there will be a video clip of the boys in action. Be sure to go and search them out on Spotify, download their tunes. They are the 95 All-Stars. They've given us a lot of fun on here today. So please go and download their music. That's all they want. Simple as that. Gents, thank you so much. Best of luck with everything you do in the future. Look forward to the new single.
It's coming.
Okay.
Thanks, mate.
See you back to the show.
Is terrified of being left behind, and this is caused by how you're thinking. Still you go to irrational thoughts again. Tomorrow, maybe feeling 10 times better. Then you drag yourself outside to the world.
So there you are. What a good bunch of lads they were. Great dynamic between them all. And who knew Joey from Friends was in the 95 All-Stars? Make sure you go and download the tunes, because all joking aside, that's what it's all about for these guys. Go and download their music. As I say to anyone that comes on this show, if one person downloads one of your tunes, it's been worthwhile. And if one extra person watches this, happy days. So please, at least one of you, go and download some of the music from the 95 All-Stars. Comment below. Tell us you've done it. Tell us what you think of the 95 All-Stars. Were they one of the most entertaining guests that we've had on here or not? Let me know in your comments below. So, the Road to Wembley Part 2. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, Part 2 it is indeed. That's because we got a big week in the Road to Wembley. So in the FA Cup last week, our team, AFC Dunstable, who are not playing game on social media, I'll just hasten to add, they need to step their game up a little bit. Anyway, they got through. They beat Barking. So they went away and they won at Barking, and they've been drawn at home to Peterborough Sports in the 3rd qualifying round. Now remember, the winner's going to the 4th qualifying round. That's one game away from the 1st round proper, and a chance to be in with the teams from League 1 and League 2. Maybe, just maybe, get chosen as a game on the TV. We'll have to wait and see. Will a Beat the First Man team be on the TV? Let's see. So that's the FA Cup. It's also the FA Trophy kicking off this week. So as well as the FA Vars with Stoke Gabriel, the FA Trophy kicks off. So we chose Worksop Town. We chose a more of a northern-based team, having chose Stoke Gabriel and Torbo Police down in the south for the Vars. We chose a more of a northern team for the trophy. And the FA Cup, I chose Harborough because they're my nearest team. That's how we did it. So Worksop Town kick off their campaign this week. They are away against Dunstan UTS. So that's the 1st round of the FA Trophy. So we're all behind Worksop Town. Let's back them. Same again. We'll get on Twitter. We'll see if we get anyone from Worksop Town or Dunstan UTS playing ball. Bit more than the boys from Dunstable. We got one from Dunstable who's played ball a little bit, but they didn't, not like the Biggleswade boys. They were all over us. We liked them. We were gutted they went out, to be honest. Never mind. So there we go. All that's left to say is, Wembley, Wembley, we are Beat the First Man, and this is the Road to Wembley. Wembley, yes.
Now, as you might be aware, I make the odd cock-up on this show. Here's a classic for you. I forgot to introduce this. So here's fantasy football. Dad v Lad. So here we go then with another episode of Dad v Lad Fantasy Football with me, Dad, and Kian Lad. How are we, Kian?
Not too bad.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's get straight to it. And last week's controversy, we've just been discussing it offline. We've both been shafted by the substitution rule. So tell them what happened to you.
Well, with me, so obviously Trent didn't play. I think he was ill or something.
Yeah.
So instead of them putting in Ben White, who got 7 points in the same position, they made it a 3-5-2 and brought Gilmore in on 3. So I missed out on 4 points.
Wow, I can top trump you're missing out on 4 points. So I had Richarlison out injured. So instead of bringing in Ivan Toney into my 4-4-2 and just putting him up front, no, they brought in another defender and put me to a 5-4-1. Fuming. And Ivan Toney got 12 points. So raging. So, but let's go to what we really got then. So I got 57 points last week. What did you get?
I got 74 last week.
And I know for a fact we both had the same star man. We both had 24 points from Mo Salah.
Yep.
Other than that, I've got to say my point scoring last week was pants.
Mine was quite good in the midfield.
I had one player with a minus, and I had one player with a 0, and 2 players with 1.
I had a couple of 8s. Ben Rama got 10. Salah got 24. Rafinha got 8. So
yeah, I had Rafinha, but other than that, it was a pretty crap week. It's got to be fair to say. In fact, my substitute they didn't put in was my second top scorer. Had they have put him in. So, looking at the league table, it's made a bit of a difference because you beat me last week again. So you've actually gone up to 10th in the table, 321 points with 74 points last week. I have slipped to 24th, but I'm only on 272. I'm only 49 behind you, so it's not, it's not surmountable. And I'm still well clear of the bottom 3 and relegation into fantasy football, Scottish Premier League. So this week then, so let's have a look. So let's go to our teams for this week. So first of all, have you made any transfers?
I've used my free hit.
Oh,
The free hit's
controversy
been used.
reigns. So who have you used?
I had 4 injuries.
Yeah.
And the rest of the team were all playing each other.
Right, okay.
So I've gone for the free hit. I've taken Edison out for Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Because they're playing against Burnley. Ayling has come out for Vestergaard.
Yeah.
Because he's also playing Burnley. Grealish has come out for Jota. Jota's got Brentford. Rafinha's come out because I think he's going to be injured for Damari Gray.
Yeah.
They got Norwich. Bamford's come out for Antonio.
Yeah.
And then Gelhart's come in for Obafemi.
Blimey. That's a whole raft of changes.
And it will all change back next week because it's only a free hit.
Well, I've only made the one change.
Yeah.
So in terms of transfers, I've fired out Richarlison because he's injured and I don't know how long he's going to be out for. And I brought in Danny Ings in his place. That's my only transfer. But the controversy will then start when we get to the team selections. Having bought Danny Ings, where is he this week?
On the bench.
Sitting on the bench. Yes, of course he is. He's got to get used to it. He's got to have a week of training first.
It's on Bielsa.
Yeah. So who have you got as your goalie this week?
So I've got Schmeichel in goal this week against Burnley.
Yeah, well, I've made another controversial change. I've dropped Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
Because they got Arsenal, and I've put Ben Foster, now he's back playing in goal, because they've got Newcastle.
Who didn't really look like scoring until they did.
Well, other than Sam Maximan, they don't really look like scoring. So I've got Ben Foster in goal. So who have you got as your back 3 or 4?
I've gone for 4 this week.
Yeah.
I've got Diaz, Cresswell, Van Dijk, Vestergaard.
So I've got Diaz,
I
Cody.
missed out Van Dijk on the substitutions as well.
Another one.
He came in for... I can't remember who he came in for, but Van Dijk's coming as well.
Oh, okay. So I've gone Diaz, Cody, Kufau, and Pereira.
Yeah.
So I've pretty steady back 4. They've been pretty regular for me, despite their crap performance last week. If they do it again this week, there's going to be some changes.
They're out.
Who have you gone as your midfield?
I've got Jota, Benrahma, Salah, and Gray.
Okay, so at the moment, I've got Salah, Zaha, Rafinha, and Grealish.
Yeah.
Rafinha might be dropped because they're not letting on whether he's fit or not. So
no,
I might gamble on him playing. I might see what happens. But if not, I'm going to drop him and bring in Billy Gilmore.
Well, I was tempted to gamble, and then I seen that Bamford wasn't playing. And I was like, who's he getting the ball to? So I took him out.
King Tyler.
Jesus Christ.
And who have you got up front?
Antonio and Lukaku.
Well, and Antonio's not scoring this week. Look at the very tough defence he's up against this week.
I have a feeling he'll probably get 2 or 3.
I don't think so. 0-0 draw. So I've gone for Ivan Toney and Jamie Vardy up front this week. Danny Ings on the bench because they're away at Man United.
Yeah.
Although Brentford are playing Liverpool, but I think Toney does take penalties, and I think Brentford might score against Liverpool. But
Van Dijk.
There's a good chance if they're going to, it'll be Toney that scores.
Yeah.
So who have you gone as your captain for the week?
Salah, because they got Brentford away, haven't they? So
obviously I've changed captain. I've gone Vardy because they got Burnley at home. So Vardy skippering me this week. And who's your vice captain?
Antonio,
and I've gone Salah.
Yeah.
So you've now used your free hit.
Yeah.
Have you used anything else yet?
No, nothing else yet.
No, so I've not used any of mine as of yet.
Just it had to be used because I can actually look at the team and tell you that I had 3 West Ham.
Yeah.
Who would have been playing against 3 Leeds, so that's already 6, and 2 of them are defenders.
Yeah.
I had Lukaku against 2 Man City defenders and the keeper, and then I had injuries all around as well. So I had to use
You're taking this team selection very seriously. It seems to me like you're desperate to win this competition.
I am very desperate to win this competition. It's very serious.
I'm getting that vibe. Right, so the gap is 49 points, Kian. So we'll be back next week to see how we got on with our, no doubt, completely different teams next weekend as we fire out a load of players who let us down. So 49-point gap. This is my week this week. I'm closing the gap this week, 100%. Jamie Vardy hat-trick against Burnley incoming, captained by me, and the points gap will be closed. So for now, Kian, thank you very much,
See you in
mate.
a bit.
And for now, it is back to the show.
Yes, indeed. So the lineal European Cup's another week, but guess what? We've got the same trophy holders. Yeah. So Freiburg in the lineal European Cup made the trip to Mainz. They came away with a hard-fought 0-0 draw, meaning they retained the trophy. This week they are at home to Augsburg to see if they can keep this run going. So the European Cup final between Freiburg and Augsburg. Iceberg? Nah, got nothing. Anyway, the lineal UEFA Cup, free scoring Borussia Dortmund, they kept hold of the trophy, but by God they made hard work of it. They were 3-0 up against Union Berlin, got pegged back to 3-2, but then the man, the machine that is Erling Haaland scored again to make it 4-2, meaning that Dortmund retained the trophy. They have got a trickier trip this week. They are on the road to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, a little part of me hopes that Dortmund win, because it's a right pain in the arse typing Mönchengladbach on all these things. So, come on Dortmund, good luck. So, Ted is back, which can only mean one thing, which is how old the reveal. You mean, how old is the Russian spy, Reidy? Ted, I don't mean the Russian spy. Yet again, you're doing a cheap, stereotypical joke. I mean the footballer who played for Dynamo Kiev and the USSR back in the 80s. Yes, Reidy, as I said, the Russian spy. Good God, okay, well let's have your guess then. Well, being a spy, he would be good at disguises and stuff, so I reckon we're all being duped, and he's only 22. Okay, well let's see if you're right then, Ted. So when this photo of Vladimir Besanov was taken, I can tell you he was 30 years old. Christ alive, Reidy. Did he work in the mines? No, Ted. He was a footballer. No, Reidy. That was his cover story. He was a spy who worked in the mines. Okay, Ted. Well, we'll see you next week before we all get into trouble with you talking about Russian footballers. Because quite frankly, I don't want to knock on the door. That's it. Episode 56 is done and dusted, people. Incredibly, we've done 56 episodes of this show. Can you believe that? We're over halfway to the big 100. What do we do for the 100th show when we get there? Who can get me a big celebrity guest on the show for the 100th show? Got plenty of time, plenty of preparation. Probably got half a year, to be honest. It's probably going to be the middle of next year before it happens. But you know, let's start thinking, people. So anyway, don't forget, if you haven't done already, please click subscribe, because it's really important. I don't want you to miss another episode. To help you make sure you don't miss another episode, click the little bell as well, and then you never will. But for now, people, it is ding ding, next stop, episode 57, which will be on Saturday the 2nd of October. But as always, people, stay safe and see you next week.